I have right here sitting to my right my special guest for today, Shavon Gibson, with the organization Figuring It Out for the Child. Oh, this is going to be so great. This is just going to be so great today. Just hearing of a program where you may have some incentive to help you figuring it out for the child, you and the father. And on the line, we also have Vikki Gaskins. I forgot Vikki last name now. What's her last name?
Gaskins-Butler.
Gaskins-Butler. Vikki Gaskins-Butler. She's the director of this program. She's going to be coming on in just a moment. But what I'm going to do is share some information on the flyer that I have here. And then we're going to hear a little bit from Shavon, what she'd like to add to it. And then the next voice you will hear is Vikki Gaskins-Butler, the director of the program. Okay, Figuring It Out for the Child. This is a research study that's helping first-time parents plan for family life after the baby comes. This is going to be so good. So what is this program all about? Well, first of all, it's a 90-minute session that offers real-life parenting strategies and solutions to unmarried African American moms and dads expecting their first baby together. Not number 26, okay? You got this, Sister Diane? Okay. Their first baby together. And their goal is to help new parents work together both before and after their baby is born. Now, when parents work together, and which, Lord have mercy, we wish that they would, as a team, their baby shows stronger development and adjustment. And they also help parents learn how to team together for the sake of their child. Their child is their first concern and welfare. The child is not put at the bottom of the barrel, item number 10 or 20. The child is their first concern. Sister Diane, you okay over there? Okay. Okay. Participation in the program is free, and it includes incentives when you go to the 90-minute session. Now, it's 10 of them you got to go to. One session is not going to do it, okay? You got that, Sister Diane? One session is not going to do that. Okay, so it's got 10 sessions, and that includes incentives, snacks, and transportation allowance if that's needed. And so right here with me today, I have a member of that team program of Figuring It Out for the Child, Sister Shavon Gibson. And Sister Shavon, I know we have Vikki on the line too, but what would you like to share about the program that you'd like to radio audience to know about?
I've been a part of the team now for about a year as a mentor of the program. Like you said, it is 10 sessions. It does cater to African American men and women. And they'll be having their first child together. So they don't necessarily just have to have one baby, but it's their first child together. And they don't have to. This is targeted mostly towards unmarried couples, and it's just giving them the opportunity to learn how to communicate with each other, learn how to come together. It highlights maybe some obstacles that may occur in the relationships and learning how to overcome those obstacles for the sake of their child. Mm-hmm. As a mentor, we are assigned a family, so the mom is assigned a female mentor, the male is assigned a male mentor. Okay. So they meet us after the initial assessment just for a brief 30 minutes, and we just talk with them, kind of like a get to know you. And then we meet again after that one-on-one.
Okay.
Each mentor with their mentee, and just, to build a rapport, to make sure that we have an understanding that everything that you say here is confidential, that you kind of build a trust with the mom or the dad. And then the other 6 sessions that we do are together mom, dad, and the male and female mentor.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. It sounds very interesting. I know that we have a director on the line holding, Mrs. Vikki Gaskins-Butler. We'd like to bring her on because she wanted to come in right behind you. She's out of town today at an event in Atlanta, and she's taken this opportunity to just make special time to call in and give us more detailed information about the program. So, Sister Diane, would you go ahead and put Miss Gaskins-Butler on the line? Vikki, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much. So would you tell us a little more about the program so our radio audience will be a little more informed about what it also offers and maybe some of the results of it, so we can, so I'm sure someone at the end of the program is going to be interested about getting in contact with you. So you can go ahead.
Okay. One thing I want you to know is I'm Dr. Vikki Gaskin-Butler, and I'm a clinical psychologist and also an ordained clergy person. I say that because this is what made me interested in working with this project. It's really, I can't take credit for it, it's really the brainchild of Dr. James McHale, he's the project director, and I am the clinical supervisor and co-director of sorts, but co-investigator with him in terms of the research that's going on.
Yes.
And he is he's an expert in co-parenting. Mm-hmm. And so we talked about, for a few years, we talked about what we can do to influence co-parenting in African-American families, and then that's how figuring it out for the child was born. So Jamie, as we call him, Dr. James McHale, Ms. Gypsy Gallardo, and I worked together to develop this curriculum. We looked at all of the different kinds of resources that were out there available to co-parents of all backgrounds, and then we developed something that would be specific for African-American co-parents. And what we came up with is the sessions, as Ms. Gibson so adequately described, that would help African-American parents who are parenting their first child together to really think through what it means to focus on the child before the child's born.
Okay.
That's one of the unique things about our project, is that we talk about what do you expect to happen before it actually happens, to give the parents a good idea of what they can expect and what they can do about co-parenting before real issues come up.
Yes.
So we focus on things like, what are the realities of parenting? What does it mean to have both a mom and a dad actively involved in a child's life?
Oh, yes.
And we know that there are lots of wonderful outcomes for children who have both parents in their lives. They're more likely to be successful in many different ways in life. They may go to college, they may be successful employees, and the list goes on. And that all starts from just two parents working together. So we talk about their ideas about parenting. What are the things that they agree on or disagree on, and how can they work out those differences with each other? We talk about things like what every baby needs in their life. Every baby needs to be touched, to be held, to be talked with. They need stimulation, and they need that from both their parents. If at all possible, we recommend both parents do that. We get them to think about what their relationships were like with both of their parents, especially their own fathers, to think about what kind of environment they want for their child. And then we talk about things of how they can show their love to their child that's coming into the world. And then we do a follow-up visit just to see after the baby's born, because we do all these discussions before the child is born.
Yes.
And then once the baby's born, we talk with them again to see if all the things we work with them on actually help them.
Do you start the sessions a few weeks before the baby's born, or are these sessions after the baby's born, or what? I'm not clear on that.
Most of the sessions, most of the sessions are before the baby's born. We try our best to get parents in right around the end of the second trimester or the beginning of the third, so that we have enough time to work with them before the baby's born, and then we do a follow-up to see if all the things we work with them on, especially the communication skills, if they were able to use those communication skills once the baby's born to help them work better together as co-parents.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. And so how do you go about finding these teenage moms or the parent or mother and father, mother-to-be or father-to-be that I guess, they are going to have their first child together or just decide to work together with raising this child? How do you find these individuals?
We find them in multiple ways, actually. We have some different funding sources, and I must add that real quick. We have funding that's been provided to us by the Juvenile Welfare Board. Okay. And we also have funding by the Brady Education Foundation. And what they've done is they've made funds available for us to even have this project. So I have to say that. But we get our referrals from multiple sources, from faith-based organizations, which could be any church in the local community. Mount Zion Human Services is where the project is currently housed, although in the long term, we would love to have this project housed in multiple faith-based organizations throughout the community.
Yes.
Referrals from the health department, various OBGYN clinics, Suncoast, from some of the local schools. And it's not just for teenage parents either. It's for any parent, African-American parent in St. Petersburg, in generally the 3705, 701, 711, and 712, those zip code areas.
Okay.
If one of those parents resides in those areas.
Okay, so it goes by certain zip codes? Oh, Okay, great. Okay. And I see what you're saying, that you like to see this program in many of the other churches here in St. Petersburg, because you said right now it's housed in Mount Zion Progressive Church of the Reverend Murphy. Is that where we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that the only one, or are you opening up some more locations?
Well, that's the only one right now, because this is our goal. Our goal is we wanted to house it somewhere, and we built a relationship with Mount Zion Human Services over time, over a several-year period, to get this project off the ground. And what our goal is, if we do it at Mount Zion first, because that was the relationship we had built, then over time, and we don't have a definite time period, but we're going after more funding in the coming year, in 2014. And once we get more funding, the idea is to go to multiple sites. So we will entertain that idea with any churches that are interested. We can talk with them about that, because that's our goal. We really want this project to be a national model. So it would be great to have centers like this doing this program all over the country, because what we want to do is really help our African-American families do a great job for their children, not just in St. Petersburg, but all over the country.
Is this the only one of its kind right now that you throughout the United States, or do you know that, I guess, if there are similar programs like this, but is there other programs like this with the title Figuring It Out for the Child throughout the U.S.? Okay. Cell phone.
Three of us, we came up with what are we doing for our kids, and I really must say, I think between and Ms. Gypsy Gallardo, the two of them, I think, came up with the title more so than I. But the title we came up with just because what we were really doing and focusing on is what are we going to help the parents do? Well, we want them to figure out how to best help their children before they come into the world. So in terms of the model in the country, not that we know of, we don't know of anyone doing exactly what we're doing.
Oh,
there are different kinds of programs focused on getting parents to get married to parent their kids together, or there are programs that focus on just parenting for moms or just parenting for dads. Most of them are after the child is born, those kinds of things. So there are multiple, like motherhood services, fatherhood services, those kinds of things. But what's unique about our project is we're looking at parents who haven't had the child yet. And we're trying to help them look at how do you resolve parenting conflicts? How do you improve communication between you? What's the connection between your childhood experiences and your ideas about parenting? And we get them to look at that before the baby's born, so they have a good idea for what they can do once the baby comes.
That sounds so good, Vikki, because I was listening to you, what you're trying to do for especially teenage moms or any mom-to-be that need this program, because I was listening and I said, with me being a teenage mom myself, since your program was not around, I just had to rely on the Holy Spirit to help me raise that child. So,
and that's a good thing, huh? It worked. How you have some successful kids.
Yes. Absolutely, because from the first time that I was introduced to you about your program a couple of months ago, that's what I was saying to Teresa when she sent me the email. I'm not sure how the connection was made, but however, that's what I was saying, because I was so excited about it, because when you don't have the direction or the guidance that you need, that's what we had to. And thank God my early teachings was about the Lord, and I'm sure yours were too, with your father being a pastor. So, yes, and thank God for that. So what you're trying to pour into their lives to give them a direction, guidance, and just knowing that I'm not sure, since I've not been to one of your sessions and probably, haven't sit in on one of them yet. But the fact is that, knowing that we do have to train our kids and teach them morals, values, and principles. So those things, that whatever you're pouring into them, I'm sure it's going to be beneficial to let the dad know also how you need to be involved, because the girls need their dads. They start growing up for the protection, the security, so they'll know what a good man looks like when they get out there and start dating and whatever. And moms too, the nurturing, because I'm familiar with a couple of children right now that I know that where the mom just don't like to be involved at all in their child's life, and she has 3 of them. And just seeing how the little girl is just so disconnected herself right now, because she just loved those who are loving on her. You just see the attention where she likes to tell them love, but when you're not connected with your mom, and I believe is that the guidelines that nurturing is like from a baby to 5 years old, that you really set in place the molding period. Do you have anything to add on that? Because that's what I always go around and saying myself, that bonding period is from a baby to 5 years old, where you really put something there that will have a good direction for their life from as they continue to get older.
Yes, I totally agree with what you said, and the research does support the fact that what you do now, even before the baby's born and once the baby's born, is highly critical in terms of their development. In those years, especially 0 to 3, as we call it, there are task forces, there are different research groups, there are different agencies of people who come together, even in our community, that talk about what's important for ages 0 to 3. And what we know is what you do from 0 to 3 influences brain development, influences how a child behaves socially. It's one of the most powerful things in life. And so we want to make sure that our fathers especially and our mothers know that it's really great when fathers and mothers work together with their child, because it improves all of the outcomes for children, especially in terms of their neurological or their brain development. And once you do good things for a child to help their brain develop, then that improves outcomes for the rest of their lives. So those first, few years are critical, as you've already said. And what we try to do is get the parents to think about what they can do to help their child in any way they can in order to influence those outcomes for the future.
Well, Vikki, I want to thank you so much today, and thank you for taking time out from your engagement up there in Atlanta to come on and interview. And I guess, do you want our listening audience to contact you or anything like that to register for the program or anything? Where we do have about a minute or so before we close out. But anything that you want Shavon to add also about getting in contact with your program?
Okay, I'll give the contact, and I'll let Shavon add what she would like to add at the end, because she is one of our wonderful mentors, and she's on the front line for the project, and our mentors are excellent. Every family that's started out in terms of, so far, every family that's gone through all of the sessions has reported they've learned something and they've grown, and they really recommend the project highly for other parents. But let me go to the contact information. Contact Miss Mari Kittle, MariKittle, and her number is 727-410-3935. And she's the person who will help anyone who's interested get registered for the program to participate.
Thank you, Vikki. Shavon, anything, closing remark?
Just to wrap it up, it's a very rewarding experience to be in the community and to be a part of a program like this. So I just encourage all listening ears, if you know any parents out there that are having their first baby together, to definitely get in contact with Mari and figure it out for the child.
Okay, and that number again, radio audience, is 727-410-3935. You be blessed. Have a God-filled day until we come back again before you with Matters of the Heart Radio and Connecting Point Ministry with Princess Denise Wright.